Hello, my name is Nick Peterson, and I'm an employee with Metro HRA. Welcome to A Great Place to Live, the tenant education class on the Metro HRA Family Affordable Housing Program. I hope you find this presentation to be helpful. The Metro HRA Family Affordable Housing Program is unique. We provide safe, decent, and affordable housing that specifically supports families. Housing stability is key for people to be productive, for children to learn, and for families and communities to thrive. This program is devoted to family stability. This presentation is intended to help you build a successful rental history and demonstrate how you can be successful as a good neighbor within your community. This information is divided into 4 categories of good tenant and neighbor practices: what it means to be a good neighbor, the importance of open communication to ensure positive relationships within neighborhoods, property upkeep both inside and outside of the home, and finally, instructional videos that demonstrate some basic home maintenance skills that will help you be a good tenant and neighbor. Families and communities thrive when there is respect for neighbors, and program tenants must be respectful neighbors. That means being able to resolve conflicts and respecting basic rights to peace and privacy. Loud parties and activities, for example, may irritate your neighbors. It's important to limit volume levels to respectable levels. As the head of household, you are responsible for the actions of other members of your household, as well as their guests. If your son or daughter has a friend who drives down the street blaring loud music, it is your responsibility to speak to that friend and tell them to keep their volume levels down while visiting the neighborhood. The golden rule applies to being a good neighbor. Treat neighbors how you would like to be treated. Remember, something you may not think is disruptive may be disruptive to someone else. If a neighbor approaches you with a problem, be understanding and receptive. Try to correct the issue or find a compromise. Oftentimes, it's those small and unresolved issues that grow into bigger conflicts. Here are a few specific examples of how to be a good neighbor. Supervising children is an important responsibility, both as a parent and as a neighbor. As you likely know, unsupervised children can create friction between neighbors. Children behave differently when they're supervised, and it's important that you know where your children are in the neighborhood and what they're doing. Unsupervised children can disrupt your neighbors and damage their property. Monitoring noise levels at your home is considerate and important. If you or your family like to listen to loud music, you can do so with headphones so as not to disrupt neighbors. Volume is important, even when indoors. If a neighbor can hear music coming from your home when they're outside, that is still a violation of their right to peace and privacy. Speaking of being outdoors, tenants are expected to keep the lawn neat. That's a sign to your neighbors that you care about the neighborhood, and it makes a great impression. Family vehicles are another consideration. It's important to not block your neighbors' driveways or local fire hydrants. Revving your engine creates unwanted noise and is disrespectful. A simple and important rule of thumb with respect to speed limit is to keep kids alive, drive 25. Make sure you and your family drive safely in your community. Park in front of your own home whenever possible, so your neighbors can park in front of theirs. If you're having a large gathering at your home, ask your guests to leave available parking space out of consideration for your neighbors. The most important tool you can use to keep your neighborhood a nice, peaceful place to live is open communication. Being friendly and approachable is the best way to form positive relationships with your neighbors. Even something as simple as saying hello when you see a neighbor goes a long way toward preventing problems. A neighbor will feel much more comfortable talking with you directly about issues if they see you as a friendly neighbor. This is the difference communication can make. Communication is also important if you're planning a large event or gathering at your home, like a birthday party. It's a good idea to let neighbors know about your plans before the event. Neighbors may be more understanding about inconveniences if they know about them in advance. Let them know how to contact you if they feel bothered. And if they do contact you during your event, be cooperative and fix the problem. Remember the golden rule of being a good neighbor. Treat others as you would like to be treated. Tenants are expected to keep up the house as well as the lawn. Keep the home clean and prevent clutter from accumulating. Storing your laundry in proper containers is important for cleanliness and safety. Only one wall is allowed to be obstructed by storage containers. As for pets, only small fish, like goldfish, are allowed in your home without an approved reasonable accommodation. You are expected to shovel accumulating snow to allow a walking path to your home and along sidewalks. An unshoveled driveway is not only unsightly, but it can pose a health risk to your family. In case of an emergency, snow can act as a barrier and slow down emergency responders. Cleaning up yard waste is your responsibility during warmer months. You should have a copy of a yard waste resources handout, which includes information on yard waste disposal in your city. An example of yard waste is the dead leaves. Leaves lying under bushes on a bed of rocks can serve as food to pests like wasps and flies. You are expected to clean up dead leaves throughout the year. A few of you may have bins with green lids. These bins are designated for yard waste. Do not put yard waste in a regular trash bin. That is illegal in the state of Minnesota and carries a hefty fine. Bags filled with dead leaves need to be biodegradable, and trash bags cannot be left lying around outside of your home. If you have questions about what to do with yard waste, call the property management company for assistance. Use the proper bags for yard waste. Many cities require you to keep your bags when you drop off yard waste at a dump site. In that case, we recommend paper bags. They are more easily reused. A rake is provided at each home in the program, which is the only tool you will need to clean up leaves. In addition to cleaning up leaves, you are expected to regularly mow your lawn, keeping the grass to less than 4 inches high. Your home is equipped with a lawnmower and a trimmer. Lawns that are not mowed stand out in the neighborhood and look very messy compared with others. Remember, you are expected to trim the edges, not just mow the lawn. You can have a well-maintained lawn, but you may still need to give it some attention with regular watering. Your home is equipped with a hose and a sprinkler. Use it to keep your lawn looking nice and healthy without overwatering. If you have a bald patch of lawn that would look better with grass, give the property management company a call and let them know. They'll apply grass seed for you. But in order to have good results, you have to water it. Grass seed needs to be watered once a day, but not too much. This is a great daily chore for children. Grass seed needs daily watering until it gets long enough to mow, around 3 inches or so. Then there are the weeds. Weeds grow in lawns and rocky landscaped areas, and you need to remove them as they grow. You can pull the weeds out by hand, though they will grow back. Vinegar is a cheap and effective weed killer, but if you use vinegar, be careful. It can kill grass as well. The most overlooked areas are rocky landscapes and in the window wells. You need to clean dead leaves and other miscellaneous garbage that may fall into the wells from wind and rain. Here are a series of videos showing basic home maintenance skills that you can use to keep your home safe.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to change your smoke detector. For this video, we have a carbon monoxide alarm. You have both of them in your home. You should test both of them once a month. To do that, you're going to want to look on the cover of the faceplate here. You see how it says test. There's generally just one big button that you want to push. I'm going to hold this down and it should make a noise if it's working. That was the noise. I'm going to cover this up now. Alright. And that's how you check your alarms. Make sure to check them every month. Guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to change your furnace filter. This right here is a furnace. You can find it downstairs, probably by your laundry machine. It has a filter in there that needs to be changed every 45 days or so. You can buy it for about $5 at your local hardware store. So Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, wherever. Now I'm going to show you how to find your filter. You've got these two ducts here with a little vent connecting them. That's usually where the filter is located. And here you can see the faceplate. You can remove it just by pulling on it, like so. It'll be removed, and in there you see that is your furnace filter. It's got a size listed on there which you're going to want to know, so when you go to buy a new filter you'll know what size to get. It'll probably be different from this size because this is a really big furnace. You can also see this little arrow here that says airflow. When you put your new filter in, you want the arrow to be facing the same direction, because that's just the way it filters out. You can remove it just by pulling it here. And then after the filter is removed, you can look at it. This filter is really not too dirty. It can obviously be a lot dirtier, and you'll be able to tell. If you change it every 45 days, it won't get too dirty, so it should look pretty close to this. After you get your new filter, you just put it back in the same way you got it out. In this video, I'm going to show you how to change your light bulb. The light bulbs we want you to use are 60 watt voltage, and now I'm going to show you simply how to take it out and put it back in. And so when you take the light bulb out, you're going to want to turn it left, which is counterclockwise. It'll slowly come loose and come out like so. And then to put it back in, you just push it in and you start turning right or clockwise the other way. And when you're changing your light bulb, you want to make sure that the lights are off before you try anything, and make sure that it is reattached before you turn the power back on, because you could get an electric shock if there's nothing covering the outlet. So now I'm going to show you guys the different parts of the lawnmower, and then I'm going to show you how to start your lawnmower. So this here is the engine. It's got a gas cap on top of it, which you can take off just by turning. If you look inside, you can generally tell whether you need to fill it up with a little more gas. And then once you look inside there, you can see there's a little gas moving around, and you can gauge how much gas you have in there. If you don't have any gas, your lawnmower won't start. And once you've made sure you have gas in your engine, you can go ahead and put the gas cap back on, tighten it back up. So generally when you look on the side of the engine, you're going to be able to find your primer pump. It's like this little rubber button that you push in about 3 times after you've made sure you have your oil and you're ready to start. Alright, so now that you've primed the pump 3 times or so, you're going to want to pull this right here, it's called your starter lever, into your handle. You'll either push it forwards or pull it towards you. You should be able to figure out which one it is. And then you're going to grab this cord right here. Now I've disconnected this one so it's not going to start, but you're just going to want to pull as hard as you can to get it started. And that's how you start your lawnmower.
Alright, so in this video I'm going to explain some garage door basics to help you fix any problems you might have with your garage door. Each garage door will have sensors right here, this right here, and there's another one on the other side, and they have little lasers, and they point at each other. And when something gets in the way of that laser, like say your child is trying to walk under the garage door as it's coming down, they'll trip and they'll get in the way of that laser, and when these 2 lasers, something is blocking them, the garage door will stop and it'll go back up. And so sometimes these lasers, they may point off from each other. So the laser might point at a wall, and so when you press the button to lower your garage door, it'll stop and go right back up, and you might think, why isn't my garage door working? That's the first thing you should check, to make sure that the lasers are pointing up at each other. All right. So for this video, I'm going to show you what happens if, say you're in the garage, for some reason you can't get out, the power's gone out, and you need to get out of your garage, but that garage door button isn't working. Every garage has this red handle here. This is an emergency exit switch. So if you're stuck in your garage inside and you need to get out, you take this switch right here and you pull down on it. There's a lock up here, and that's going to unlock it. And after you pull it down, then what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to go over and you're going to pull this, like so. And it's a garage door, so it's kind of heavy, so you're going to have to pull hard, but you're just going to keep pulling it. So now you've opened your garage door. What you're going to want to do now is reattaching your garage door to the lock. So up here, this cord you pulled down on disconnected it from the lock. So you're going to want to pull your garage door back to the lock itself. To reattach it like so. You'll hear a big click and you'll feel it. And after it's reattached, you won't be able to move it anywhere. So now I'm going to demonstrate how to unclog a clogged toilet. Every once in a while something might get into the pipe that's stopping your toilet from flushing. So when you flush, the water might rise to the top. This is a toilet plunger. It's a tool you can buy at your local hardware store, Home Depot, anywhere like that. Costs between $2 to $5. It's definitely worth getting. You should have one. If the water is not going down, you take this plunger and you just start adding force. You start pushing in, because anything that's blocking the water from going down is going to get broken loose when you do that. And so after you give it a few plunges, you can try flushing your toilet. And any problem that it did have is probably going to be fixed. This is a really quick solution, and it's a lot cheaper than calling up Kingwood and asking them to call someone out to fix your toilet when that was the only problem. Alright, so in this video I'm going to explain something called winterizing your faucets. This is something you have to do every year in Minnesota. It's because it gets so cold outside, so what you want to do is get all the water out of your pipes. So you're going to want to go to your utility closet and find a knob that looks like this. It's going to look like the faucet outside where you hook up your hose in the summer. When you find this, you're going to turn it because you want to close it. So you want to make sure that there isn't any water going out there, because the water can freeze, and once it freezes it can damage your pipes, it can burst, it can cause flooding. It's no good. So after you get this fully closed, you're going to want to go outside to your faucet. And so in this case, the faucet is in the garage right here. So once you find your faucet, you're just going to want to turn it on, and you can expect some water to come out. We've already winterized this house, so no water's coming out right now. This is what it should look like. Once this is all open and water should be coming out, it will empty what's in there, but since you've shut it off inside, it will stop. And so once the water stops coming out, you've winterized your faucet and you're done. So in this video, I'm going to explain GFCI outlets. They're outlets that you'll have installed around your house. They were invented because they have a little mechanism inside of them that will detect when there's too much electricity, and it'll just shut itself off instead of starting a fire or something. And so with these GFCI outlets, they need to be tested to make sure that they work. Each GFCI outlet, you'll be able to tell because it has two buttons. It has a test button and a reset button. So what you're going to want to do, you keep your appliances plugged in. So say you have a toaster plugged in. You keep that plugged in, and then you press this little test button, the little one with the T. After you press that, everything that is plugged in there should shut off. It shouldn't work anymore. That means that your outlet is working right. And so after it passes the test, before you press the reset button, you're going to want to unplug everything. And then press your reset button. That'll turn your outlet back on. Everything will start working again. If you keep things plugged in and you turn your power back on suddenly, it could cause a surge of electricity, and that could break whatever you have plugged in. And so after you've tested your outlet, you should test them every month, make sure they work. That's all, you're done. Every home has a circuit breaker. These are electrical boxes that allow electricity into your home. These breakers monitor how much electricity you are using through outlets in your house. If too much electricity is being used, the breaker will shut off the power. Here's an example. You rent a big vacuum to clean your carpet. You plug it into an outlet in the kitchen, but when you turn the vacuum on, everything in your kitchen loses power. This is your circuit breaker telling you that too much electricity is trying to enter the home. If this happens, unplug everything in the area that has lost power, such as toasters and coffee makers. Then go to the circuit breaker and open up the panel. You'll see two columns of switches. Each switch has a number. There is a sheet of paper attached to the door that has a key, telling you which controls the electricity in a certain area of your home. For instance, if you've lost power in your kitchen, in the control panel, find the switch labeled Kitchen. Flip that switch back and forth from on to off and then back to on again. If you haven't unplugged your electronics, this could cause them to break. That's why you need to unplug everything before you do this. After you've reset the breaker, you can go back to your kitchen, plug in only the appliances you need while you use the vacuum cleaner. We expect that some fixtures may break or stop working. Pipes may leak or gutters may get clogged by dirt and leaves. It's important to notify the property management company early when something needs repair. A leaking pipe is a minor repair if it's reported early, but if left unreported, it can lead to more severe damages. This is the ceiling of a garage, and all of that damage and discoloration was the result of one small leak that went unreported for weeks. The leaking pipe is considered normal wear and tear, but the ceiling damage from the unrepaired leak is the fault of the tenant. There are a number of common issues you should notify the property management company about. A damaged downspout can allow for water to pool on the ground, causing erosion and exposing the foundation of the building. Even a plant left growing in the built-up dirt in the gutter can cause significant damage. If you see things like this, call the property management company to let them know. It's always better to report something that may need repair than to just assume that it doesn't. Finally, there's renter's insurance. This is one of the smartest investments you can make. Without renter's insurance, you don't have anything protecting your belongings if something unexpected happens, such as a fire, flooding, or theft. If you have other insurance plans, such as automobile, life insurance, or any other type, your insurance company probably offers bundle deals that can make renter's insurance more affordable. It is highly recommended that you set up a renter's insurance plan. It's a small price to pay for peace of mind. That's it for this presentation. Now for a short quiz that will help reinforce what you learned today. Thank you for watching. Please enjoy and take care of your new home.